Okay, so about a week or two ago, I had a flight and I was in Chicago. So me and my crew, we report to the airport at our designated time, and there was snow coming in, there was heavy rain, and there was tornadoes in the area. And our airplane that was coming in, well, I was tracking a flight on my iPhone. So I'm tracking a flight, tracking a flight, tracking a flight. And I was like, you guys, it says our plane is here, but it was circling. So here our airplane is circling the airport, is circling and circling. When it finally lands, we find out that our aircraft was struck by lightning. So now here we are, we're on this serious delay. So we're like, okay, fine. So we're delayed approximately about 4 hours or so. And I had a trip the next day that reported at 5 a.m. So I was like, so the captain was talking to us and he's like, oh, you guys, we're going to be delayed, blah, 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 blah. So all of a sudden I start calculating the time and I was like, and delays are like a negative. Nobody wants a delay. So I was like, so I looked to the captain and I said, what time are we going to get in? Because we have to have so much ground time on our trips. Ground time meaning our rest. When we get home, you have to have so much time between when you land and when you take off on the next trip. So I tell the crew, my flight attendant friends, I said, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to be pay protected for my trip tomorrow. And pay protected means I'm going to be taken off the trip because I'm illegal to fly, but I get paid for it. Okay? So I'm just like, so they're like, okay, we're going to land. They're going to land the plane in 2 minutes. They're going to land the plane in 3 minutes. All this stuff is going on. So I'm like, okay. When are they going to land? Okay, So I'm not bummed out by this delay. I'm kind of like, we're delayed, no problems, I'm good. So anyways, they finally land. And they land, we board our flight. Well, the flight attendants, we get on, the pilots get on. And there's this huge maintenance because our plane had been hit by lightning. They had to do all of this maintenance and double check this and double check that to make sure that the aircraft was safe to fly. So we're like, okay. So we're just chilling, hanging out. And I'm still like checking, if we get in at this time, am I going to be protected? So I'm like checking all that. So anyways, we finally board the aircraft. We were safe to go. And we all know technology now. There's Wi-Fi on the airplanes. So after we get over 10,000 feet, and I'm going through, we had just hit over 10,000 and we're flying. So this passenger sitting in first class at the window, he says, hey, he's on his internet. He says, hey, an airplane slid off the runway, and they're not allowing any airplanes to land where we were going. So I look at his computer, because I want to read what he's talking about. And I'm like, okay. I was like, wow, thanks. So because we had just taken off, I knew that our pilots probably did not know this information because we were not in that airspace yet. So air traffic control would not have notified us of this information. So I go up and I call the pilots, the captain. I was like, hey, I said, an aircraft slid off the runway. And I said, they're not allowing any airplanes to land. And you know, here we are. We just took off. So we have 4 hours before we land. Surely all this would be taken care of before we land. So I just, you know, give them a heads up or whatever, whatnot. So anyways, but during boarding, during this flight, this woman gets on, and I have to tell you guys, I was having a bad hair day. My hair had the water and the whatever, I don't know what happened, but my hair had shrunken up like, and it was just, I was like, what is going on with this hair? The braid out was just gone. So during boarding, this woman gets on my flight and she looks at me and she says, your hair is beautiful. And I just smiled and I said, well, thank you. And I had a few men, they was like, oh my God, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And I was like, okay, yeah. But there was something about this woman that told me my hair was beautiful. There was just something in her eyes. And she had a relaxer. And that was just something about her. So anyway, this video is in response to Vanie0295 contest that she's having. If you met someone in an elevator, airplane, and they want to go get a relaxer, what are the 5 things you would tell them to stop them from going to relax their hair? So anyways, you know, here we are, boarding's done, and we take off, hit 10,000, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and we pull up the cart, and so we do all this other stuff. So we get to the cart, and we're serving beverages. Just so happened, the woman that complimented me on my hair was sitting on an aisle. So I'm serving everyone, and she's sitting there, and she's just looking at me, and there's just this look in her eyes. And so I say to her, I said, so when are you going to go natural? And she says, oh, she says, I've been wanting to go natural for years. She says, it's just something, you know, I've been working on. So here I am on the cart working. So I said to her, I said, okay. I said, one of the first things you want to do, I said, go find, you know, start reading your products, reading the labels, reading the ingredients. Make sure that your products do not have sulfates. So I explained to her how horrible sulfates are. And I said, make sure your ingredients do not have mineral oil. And I go into mineral oil or petrolatum or petroleum. And I explain that. And when I explain products about mineral oils and petroleum or petrolatum, when I explain that to people, I explain that to the extent that I would say to people, you know, when you wax your car and you put a wax on your car and you don't want water to get on your nice paint job, so you put wax on. I said, well, that is exactly what mineral oil or petrolatum is doing. I said, it's going to put a coat on your hair strands. And I said, even if you use a product that has those ingredients in them, and you might say, oh, well, my hair looks fine with those ingredients. Sure, it'll look fine for a certain amount of time, but if you keep using them and those ingredients build up and build up and build up, eventually your hair will break off. Okay, so I tell her those 3 ingredients. So, And so the other flight attendant, she's looking at me like, what is she doing? What is she doing? She's not working. She's just talking to this woman. So yeah, so I tell her the mineral oil, petroleum, no sulfates. So then I said, you know, you want to use ingredients that has jojoba oils, olive oil. So then I have this huge olive oil story that I tell her. You know, I was out on the road on a trip and I ran out of my products. And I'm in my hotel like, I don't have any more product. But I carry with me olive oil on my trips in these little packets, which I'm not going to run and go get. So I was like, oh, I have olive oil. And I use only olive oil on my hair for like the next 4 days. And my hair was amazing. So I'm telling her, you know, use jojoba oil, olive oil, castor oil, coconut oil. So I'm trying to tell her all this stuff, you know, while I'm standing in her row. So we go on, we finish the cabin. So I go back to her because the seat next to her was empty, and I sit down next to her and I said, okay, so this is what you need to do. So I've already told her all these other things, and I was so excited, you know, I was so excited, and I was embracing her, and I was just like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And so then she's like, so I tell her, I said, do you have a pen? She didn't have a pen. So I look behind me, and the passenger behind us, I saw he had a pen in his pocket. And I said, sir, can I borrow your pen? So he gives me his pen. So I write down don'ts, and I put don'ts, and I put sulfates, mineral oil, petroleum, and then I put do's, and I was like, jojoba oil, coconut oil, olive oil, you know. And so I'm jotting down all this stuff for her because, you know, I just want her experience to be so positive. So also I write, of course, YouTube, and I said, do you ever go on YouTube? And no, she didn't. I said there is this huge YouTube community on YouTube. It's amazing. I said you need to go on YouTube, and of course I give her my channel, but I give her channels of other people that I really love. And I said, I'm serious. I said, go on here, look. And I said, you can email me on YouTube. Also, give me a personal message. But there are so many people on YouTube that you can just refer to, you know. And I asked her also, I said, when was your last relaxer? And her last relaxer had been 6 weeks. So I know I was so all over the place when I was telling her this advice, because I just kept wanting to give her things, and I went away to, you know, work, and I came back and I said, vitamin E is great for your hair, you know, water, and I just started telling her all these things. So Vanie, I know, all over the place, but I have thought of her so many times, and I really, really hope that I really feel that she will follow some of this advice. And I'm so waiting for the day that she will email me on my inbox, because I really felt that she did. She was ready to go natural, and she didn't want to do another relaxer, although, you know, her relaxer, that was still her way of life. So I hope I pushed her over the edge to our world, our natural world. So anyways, there's my submission to the contest, and love you, girl. Talk to you later. Peace out, and you guys have a great day.